Going on, y'all? Shields up. So today's reading is going to be something a bit different. Okay, I've not done a reading yet on this channel like this, but I feel like it's definitely significant, especially at this time. And I'm going to explain why here in just a bit. So if you're new to the channel, welcome. It's your girl Jazi. Okay, your Callie's favorite reader, your favorite spiritual consult. Okay, so this reading, before I get started, let me just say my voice right now is, I'm dealing with some things, and it's not a bad thing at all. It's not like spiritual warfare or anything like that. So any of those watching that tried it, it didn't work. But so that's why my crown is protected as well. But my voice sounds the way it does. I apologize in advance. It is what it is. Okay, I'm doing my best here, but I needed to get this reading out as well, this message. So before I get started, I'm going to get into a backstory about where this came from, how this the inkling to do this reading even came about. Okay, so this reading in specific is for those of you that are feeling broke financially and what it means spiritually. So where this came from was saw this video the other day, and this goddess was talking about which I already, for me personally, I've been aware of, right? Everything starts spiritually, and I say that a lot on this channel as well, confirming this, right? Everything starts spiritually before it is experienced physically. And so with that, right, there's always a significance going on internally and spiritually, meaning in the unseen realm, that is being reflected outwardly in our physical realm. So as it pertains to those feeling broke, what she was explaining was how basically that's kind of like a sign of disconnection in some way. Okay. And so now when we correlate, okay, where spiritually are your finances, right? Is your money? Well, that is governed by your root chakra, right? And your root chakra is corresponding with the planet Saturn. Okay, so Saturn is a planet of destruction, but it's also the planet of discipline, the planet of structure, the planet of restrictions, limitations, things like that. So it's important to discern, right, what aspects of Saturn are holding us back in any kind of way. So is it limitations, meaning your mind, your thoughts, right? Or is it structure that you don't have in your experience, right? Is it maybe a lack of discipline, right? Or discipline in the wrong ways, meaning not in the wrong ways, but in not as helpful ways, right? So being able to identify, what of those aspects, right, apply. And so, so then going forth from that reminded me of this, what I've heard a few months back, I'm sure some of you have as well, of the wealth transfer, right? That's happening during this time. Okay. This has been going on for a few months now, but I feel like I've been noticing it in real time more and more. And I'm going to tell you how. Okay. So I live in San Diego, right? And in San Diego, one of my favorite cities out here is in La Jolla. Okay. So those of you that know, La Jolla is a very, it's ritzy, it's more high maintenance, more houses are multi-million-dollar homes, very, for the most part, quite expensive, right? Or expensive to those of us who don't live in those areas, right? And compared to other places in the world, it's quite expensive. So I had set up on my Zillow app, right, while like years ago, back in like the early 20s, I'd set up on my Zillow app to give me notifications of like hairs on my face, give me notifications of, listings that are in that area, right? And so more recently, because I've been back on the app looking for other areas, right? I noticed that I get notifications very, very regularly. And these notifications are homes that are either dropping in price, right? But most of them are just listed homes. And I've been seeing this every day for at least a month now, multiple homes in one day. And and what kept coming to me was the wealth transfer, the wealth transfer. The wealth is transferring. Okay. So this is a time for us to really prepare for what it is you're asking for, to really get yourself in position, because the wealth is transferring, meaning that I'm not going to say that, or project that these people that are selling their homes are selling them because they can't afford them. But that neighborhood in particular, that city in particular, is a predominantly um, non-melanated, non-urban, okay, area, right? If you catch my drift. People that look like me, even though I'm not fully white at all. I'm more than half black, so, or melanated, I should say. You just can't tell, right? But a lot of people there look like me and brighter, right? so, um, so it's to say that a lot of the, I feel like I don't, like I said, I don't want to project and say that that's what it is because you don't know. Everybody's situation is different, right? But what kept coming to me though was wealth transfer, meaning people that have been leaving or have been selling their homes could be, definitely be because, they're just realizing we can't, like, I don't want to live here anymore. Or, I feel like we can take this money and do something, get more bang for our buck somewhere else, right? But that did kept coming to me though, that people just simply can't afford their homes anymore out there, right? And that's just going to say, like, saying to say that the wealth is transferring. Okay, that is like what's happening in real fucking time. Like, I've been watching it, I've been observing it, and every time I see it, that keeps coming to me. Wealth transfer. So that for me has been a reminder, right, to position yourself, get yourself in position, get ready, get ready, right, get ready. So I feel like this is for some of you why this reading came to me, to do this in this way, because it's preparing us to get ready. Okay. So, so the question that we're going to ask today is, and I'm going to do this collectively, but for those of you that are wanting to explore this deeper in your own personal situation, feel free to reach out to me and we can cover this as well for your personal situation. All right. What is the collective? What or how is the collective disconnected or broke away from spiritually? That's reflecting feeling broke financially. Okay. So I wanted us to dive into that. As a collective, take what applies, leave what does not. Okay, this is a general reading, meaning it's not going to apply to all of you. Not all of this is going to be your message, but that's going to be up to you to discern. Okay, to set your intention for the messages that come through to be those that are meant for you. All right, so let's get into this, spirit, for the collective. What or how has the collective broke away from or disconnected from that is bringing up the feeling of broke financially as it pertains to finances? So let's see. And for any of you that are interested in my current services, my current offerings, you can find that on my beacons page. Okay. You can find, that's not what I was going to say. You can find that on my beacons page. But also, if you enjoyed this video, okay, please like, subscribe, share, comment, all the things. All right. I'd really appreciate that. Anything else, spirit, for the collective? So the first card that came out is Observer, card 49. Okay. So it feels like there's, some of you, the fates, some of you can observe what this is in your own experience, and it's happening exactly as it's supposed to. With the fates, that's destiny. That's fated events, meaning things are happening and playing out exactly as they're meant to. Okay. It's kind of just a matter of what you do with it, what you do with the information as it comes to you, how you respond to the circumstances as you're observing them. Okay, allowing yourself to be the observer in your own experience. Observe, not absorb, right? And that's kind of what I'm getting here with this, is there's an opportunity here for some of you to really observe the way things have played out for you up until this point. And when you allow yourself to see it from the perspective of it's playing out exactly as it needed to, that's kind of how you can call your power back from the situation and realize that, oh, okay, this happened not because it's punishing me, but because it's trying to teach me something. It's trying to show me something, right? So when you put yourself in the position of being the observer, you're just watching it like you do a movie. You're not taking it personal. You're not identifying with it. You're not clinging to it, right? You're not letting it create, resistance in your body, right? That's how some of you are being asked to observe, right? This idea, some of you have gotten too close to the situation and you're making it personal. You're making it personal when it's really not, okay? So, I feel like this also is pertaining to some of you that are in the spotlight. Some of you are meant to be in the spotlight, and you're just sitting on the sidelines. Some of you are observing this with other people, but it's calling you to observe it within yourself, to see yourself on that stage or in that studio or on that TV, whatever it might be. Some of you are you've broken away, you've disconnected what some of you have disconnected from. Okay, seeing yourself in that position. Some of you have been, thank you, confirmation burp. Some of you have been observing what you want to experience through others for so long to where you've become comfortable. Some of you have become complacent, just calling it as it's being given to me. Have become complacent in just watching others experience it and have become okay, like that being enough, right? Instead of what you initially wanted was to experience it for yourself. Okay. So some of you, this is a call. You're feeling broke financially because some of you have disconnected from what your soul really wants to actually experience. It's like your soul is kind of like I want to have that for myself. I don't want to just watch anymore. I don't want to just, it's cool to see what's possible, right? And to have the inspiration, but I want to experience it for myself. And some of you are not allowing yourself to actually experience it, right? By way of observing yourself as if you're actually in that position. Okay. But others of you, the way things are as it stands, it's happening exactly as it's supposed to. Okay. So that's again why your discernment is so important, because some of you have, made it really personal, right? You've gotten offended that why is this taking so long, or why do I keep having to see these other people have what I want and I'm not having it yet. Okay. Some of you haven't grasped the fact that there's something that you're supposed to see with this. That's what the observer is about. That there's something that spirit is trying to show you with this. Okay. That maybe some of you haven't yet identified. And that's why it feels like it's taking a long time. It's not doing that on purpose, but it's up to you to get into the alignment of seeing what this is trying to show you, identifying, what it is that spirit is trying to show you in advance, right? Before you actually have the experience to prepare you. Okay. So let's see what else, spirit. What has the collective, or how is the collective disconnected? Resilience. This is card 21. Some of you have disconnected from your willingness to push forward, to drop the things that don't serve you, drop the weight that you've been carrying that doesn't belong to you, that is ultimately making it difficult for you to persevere and push forward. It's like some of you are trying to get on a plane and think you could try to take your whole house with you or something. You know what I'm saying? It's like you can't take all that. Not all of that is meant to go with you, right? Some of you are trying to take maybe other people with you, right? That you're carrying that, made you maybe feel like you need to carry them on your back, and you're trying to take them with you. It won't fit because the doorway is only so big. It's only meant for you. But some of you are trying to carry the weight of other people. Maybe some of you are even carrying the weight of others' projections. Thank you, Spirit. You're carrying the weight of others' projections on your shoulders. It's not meant for you. It's not meant for you. Okay? It's not meant for you to carry. Some of you are carrying dead weight. Okay? Not only the weight of what it is that you're growing, the things that you're actually going for, but also the weight of things that are dead, things that are gone, things that are done, that there's no coming back from that. And that's why some of you feel so weighted, or where you've gotten comfortable with just observing, other people having the experience that you want to have, that your soul wants to have. Okay. And so some of you are being weighted by the guilt. You're being weighted by the shame or the judgment that's coming from your soul, because it's like, that should be us. Okay, this feels real deep for some of you. And I'm not, obviously, I never intend to, make it feel like I'm coming for your life. Okay. But I am going to always be honest. Okay. And that's what the intuition is about. Okay. It's going to tell you what you need to hear, not always what you want to hear. So this feels, like I've even had to sit recently with these truths about myself. For me, it's about my soul wanting to express itself. Like I literally asked my throat chakra, like what it needed because of what's been going on with it, and it yelled at me. And I want to cry right now because like she ripped me a new one. She wrote me a new one. Yeah. So I'm just saying that to say she was really like, you're not fucking listening to me. And when I finally allowed myself to listen, it was just like, whoa, oh, whoa, like, yo. And I had to like kind of like listen, but at the same time remind her that, look, we are on a team, okay? And that is not how, that's not going to get me to do anything differently coming at me like that, right? I'd have that boundary with myself, okay? But I could feel the frustration. I could feel the disconnect of my voice in that way, where it's like, yeah, I speak my truth for the most part, but there are other ways that my soul is wanting to express itself, and I haven't been honoring that. So this is an opportunity for some of you, okay, to observe the ways in which you have been not honoring your soul's expression as it pertains that could shift your life financially, okay, that could bring in more money, that could bring in more stability. Some of you, because your money is tied to your root chakra, this could definitely have to, there could be some things that you're still carrying from childhood, okay, things that, when you didn't feel safe, when you didn't feel stable. Some of you were bouncing home to home. Some of you, didn't grow up in a structured type of household, right? A lot of us didn't. I had two parents, but I didn't grow up around structure, right? I didn't really get the type of love that I feel like I should have had at that age, right? Where people thought I was spoiled, thought that I just had this luxury life and shit because I had two parents and one was in the military. It wasn't like that, right? Um, but I did always have a roof over my head, right? I was always provided for. I was ate food, things like that. So I'm grateful. But I didn't have the structure that I feel like I could really be thriving in life at this time. So I've been reteaching myself, reparenting myself for quite some time now with all that, right? So some of you may be finding yourself still holding on to the weight of not letting go of things that didn't work, things that didn't go your way, things that didn't pan out the way you thought it should have. Okay. But you have to understand that it happened exactly as it needed to. It was by divine orchestration. Okay. The things that you were maybe made to disconnect from, it's because it wasn't meant to go with you. Some of you are still holding the weight of that. Okay. Of feeling like I just got to push through. I just got to keep going. And you haven't really given yourself an opportunity to really grieve something, to really feel something. Okay. Whatever that might be for you. Some of you know the weight that you're carrying, and that's why you keep putting it off. But that's what it is what making some of you feel like you're broke, okay? Because you've broken away from allowing yourself to feel what was trying to be felt, right? It's not meant for it to hold on to those feelings. You feel them and then you let them go. That's what emotions are, energy in motion. They're not meant to be held, because when you hold that energy, that's what creates dis-ease and discomfort and imbalance in your body, right? And that's why, because it's going against the natural flow of nature. You're meant to, feel them as they're there and as they arise, and then when they're ready to leave, you allow them to go, right? Everything is temporary, and that's why they say this too shall pass. It's because it's not going to stay, but when you hold on to it, then yes, it will stay a bit longer. So it feels like important for some of you to, really take a look at, what have I been observing? Have I been constantly focused on and observing the worst in the situation, or have I been allowing myself to see, how is this really trying to help me? How is this really happening by divine orchestration? How is this really trying to strengthen me and show me how strong I really am? You see what I'm saying? Some of you have disconnected from that, from allowing yourself to see things from a higher level of perspective. That's what I'm here for, right? To remind you what you already know. This is nothing new to some of you. But some of you have just disconnected from allowing yourself to see, like, see the bigger picture in a sense, right? How is this really trying to help me? How have I got disconnected from, disciplining myself? Maybe some of you, that's why you feel broke financially, is because you've kind of like broken away from your discipline. Maybe some of you have had routines in place and you kind of just got to a point where, I have that too, times like that as well, where I get, I'm doing good, I'm doing great. And then all of a sudden I'm just like, or something happens, right? And and the motivation is just gone, right? And it's up to us to discipline ourselves, right? to bring that shit back, right? Because it's like the same as a car. Car isn't going to go anywhere until you put the key in it and first made the decision that I want to go somewhere, right? That's the same as how it works with our bodies, our vessels, right? We have to be the first ones. And energy isn't just going to come to us. We have to get up and do something to bring the energy in, okay? Whether you do that mentally or whether you do that, shake your body and move around a little bit. Like for me, I've been doing lately this tapping, just all over, full body tapping, right? And it's a very great lymphatic drainage type of practice, right? Where you just tap I do it a lot harder than this, but tap your body, your head, everywhere, your feet, everything, right? And that wakes up your energy. It helps kind of get you going. And then I do a full body shake and just let it all shake. Everything, just let everything move. I don't care how I look because I'm by myself, right? So that's the easy way though to kind of get your car going, so to speak, right? When you feel like I don't have the energy, I don't have motivation, that's a great way to start. But you have to get up to do that first, right? So let's see, Spirit, anything else for the collective that they may have disconnected from? Or is making them feel financially broke? Fruition. It feels like some of you, there's things that have come in, but you're not identifying with it, or it didn't come in how you wanted, or in a way that you thought it should. So it's kind of making you feel like, well, it didn't look like this, so that ain't good enough. That ain't good enough, right? But if you don't allow yourself to have gratitude for what you do have, it only perpetuates receiving more of what you don't have, or feeling like you don't have enough. If you're focused more, again, that's going back to that observer energy, right? If you're focusing more on observing more of the lack that it feels like you have in your experience, the universe is only going to say yes to everything. It only says yes to everything. So that's why it's so important to be mindful with your words and what you're observing. Where are you putting your energy? What are you paying attention to, right? Because you paying is what's costing you. Wherever you're paying your attention, that's costing you, because you could be paying your attention to something else, right? So when you're paying more attention to what's lacking, the universe is only going to say, okay, I'll give you more of that. And it's not punishment, right? That's just how this shit works. So when you focus more on what you don't have, it only exudes the energy of less having, right? Of having more of what you think you don't got, right? So that's what the, observer energy is about. But some of you have disconnected again from your resilience, your ability to keep going, even when it feels like I don't have enough. Because some of you have things that are coming in, but it feels like some of you have like given up right before you're blissing. Okay. Some of you are ready to give up and quit right before you get to the finish line. Okay. And some of you, that's because you're looking at the wrong thing. You see, like these two cards, you see how this cat is looking? Let me put it how it was. See how this cat is looking, observing that way? The fates in this, and her back is, she's looking this way. So it's like some of you, you're not even looking at what's coming in. Some of you have things that are fated to come to you that are ready to come in, but you're looking at the wrong thing. Your attention is paid in the wrong direction. So you're not seeing what's trying to come to you. You're not seeing the stars align. You're not seeing what the universe is dropping down right into your hand, right into your lap for some of you, right? Things that are literally coming to fruition. You've broken away from allowing yourself to see the good in what it seems like you don't have, the good and the simple, the good and the simplistic, right? When you focus on those bare minimum little things, that at least, you know what, I have breath in my body, that, you know what, I'm grateful that I have my mobility. I'm grateful that I got legs that carry me everywhere I feel like I want to go. I'm grateful that I have roof over my head. I'm grateful for these lights. I'm grateful that I could change my lights to match, the day, meaning the color correspondence to the planetary day. Like, I'm grateful that I have these resources. I'm grateful that I can shuffle these cards. I'm grateful for the creativity that allowed me to create this deck. Like, these little things, when you get into that mode and you just start pouring into that, right? That is still a frequency. It's still an energy. So you can still align, even if you don't feel good. Things that you ask for will still come to you. But if you're still focused on what it feels like you don't have, what it feels like is not working, what you feel like is not available to you, that's only what you're going to receive more of. And that's just the simple truth of it. Okay. So let's see. What's a sign or synchronicity for the collective that they are either seeing or should be looking out for at this time that can benefit them? Spirit for the, okay, fire, heat, Aries, Leo, Sag energy. Okay, some of you might be an Aries, Leo, or Sag. Okay, we are coming into Sagittarius season, so fire, heat. Some of you are candle lighters, okay, like myself. Cats may be of significance. Some of you may have a cat, or you may be finding cats that are around your space. Okay, that has a whole nother spiritual significance, including protection and ancestors, okay, that are around. But I have fire showing up on two different cards here. Okay, you have fire and heat and candles. So some of you, this has to do with candle magic. Some of you have disconnected from your own magic. Okay. Some of you might benefit by lighting a candle, just like a plain tea light candle, okay, and focusing on it, meaning looking at the flame, focusing your energy on the flame with the intention to respark your own energy, to respark your passions, to respark, that masculine energy in you that has the energy to take action. Okay, that's what the masculine energy is. It's not manly, it's action oriented. It's getting things done. It's receiving on the feminine side, right? Receiving the crown load and the direction and the instruction, and then the masculine energy, which is that structure, okay, that brings it forth, that brings it to fruition. You see how that's how you work in balance. And some of you, okay, have disconnected from your balance. Some of you aren't even seeing this clearly because, again, it feels like some of you are focused on the wrong thing. Okay, some of you would benefit at this time by maybe going within and doing some self-reflection and working on your masculine energy here. Okay, some of you might benefit from doing some may have like a masculine wound, right? A wounded masculine energy that needs some attention. Okay, and like I said, lighting a simple tea light candle, okay, because all you're doing is working with the elements. All right, that's what candle magic is. You're literally working with the elements. There's nothing dark or negative about that. There's nothing demonic about that. What makes it demonic is the intention that is placed behind it. That is it, literally. So if your intention is to help yourself, guess what? It'll work. Okay, but some of you are really need to allow yourself to be intentional about the things that you want. Get clear about what those things are, so that way you can use your tools, right? Candles are just tools. Oils and herbs are just tools. Cards, they're tools, right? Everything is a tool if you allow it to be, okay? But where we mess up is when we give our power away to the tool. When you do that, you might as well just throw the whole thing out the window out and just start over at another time, right? Because you give the tool the magic. I connect to the energy of these cards for them to relay back to me the messages, for me to then express them to you. See what I'm saying? How we work in balance, right? So, let's see. Some of you would really also benefit by working with getting in tune with your Mars placement. Okay, that's also what this energy is about. The flame, fire, passion. That's all Mars energy. Okay, the red, that's Mars energy, right? So leadership, burning desire, loyalty. Some of you, this is what you've disconnected from. Okay, so others of you also, what I'm getting is North Node energy. Check your North Node placement. Okay, like for me, my North Node is in Aries. So that's fire all day long. So that's about independence. That's about leadership, boss energy, authority, right? Being a business owner, entrepreneurship is all the shit I'm doing already, right? But getting more structured in that, being more embodied in that, okay? So you would benefit in checking your not only your Mars placement, but your North Node placement. If you haven't, even if you know what those placements are, allowing yourself to dive into how can I better utilize them? How can I use these placements to help me build a routine, build a structure that will allow finances to flow to me, right? Because it's not that you're not worthy, but it's like sometimes we're not asking the right questions, okay? The answers can be right there in your face, but if you're not asking the right questions and then allowing yourself to observe what's being shown to you, observe the answer, of course you're going to miss it every time, right? So let's see. Loyalty, devotion to your craft, passions are calling. Reignite. It's go time. Mars energy, root chakra. We just talked about the root chakra. Okay, here we are again. Burn and release. Let go, detach. Be mindful. Some of you, again, this is about detaching from the things you've been carrying. Some of you might also benefit from doing a some people call a burn bowl. I do what I call a forgiveness bowl, and that's me forgiving not only people but things that I may have done, that I may have said that I feel like was out of alignment, but it happened, right? And I then, do that like for the month, and then at the full moon, right under the full moon, I read them off one by one and burn them. So some of you might benefit by doing that practice as well, to help you, right, in releasing. And as you do that with your candle, right, you imbue that candle with all that you're trying to release, right? You thank it. Thank you for supporting me in releasing XYZ. It is done. So it is uttered. Therefore, it's done. It's done. It's done. And just allow yourself to feel like, I feel lighter. Okay, you have to declare that, right? That I feel lighter. I allow myself to feel lighter. Thank you for showing me how much lighter I feel after this release. Thank you for showing me and allowing me to observe, right? Observe how much lighter I feel in this moment, how much lighter this light in this candle and setting this intention has made me feel right now, right? That is how you accept it as true, okay? You have to feel it. Be mindful of lustful sexual energies. Do a burn bowl to rid of any negativity. So yeah, we just covered that. All right. So again, it just really feels like back to the point of the magic, right? Some of you have disconnected from your magic. You've disconnected from what's important to you, the things that matter to you, your passions. Okay. Some of you have been carrying too much of everything else, that you're focusing more on what's wrong versus what's going well. You're focusing more on your current circumstances versus what's possible. Okay. And I'm gonna give you a little gem right here that some of you may or may not have known, but some of you, this is a reminder, okay, that everything you're observing in your 3D reality as you watch this video up until this point right now are all accumulations of past thoughts you've had in the past. That is all what you're experiencing now. So that is why it's so important to be mindful in the present moment, moment to moment, the things you're observing. Allow yourself to observe how plentiful you are, how much abundance you have, how much you have to be grateful for, right? How much fruits you have, meaning fruits of things that you have to enjoy, all the resources you have that are available to you, right? That you can see other people using, meaning if it's available to them, it's also available to me, right? Everything you're experiencing now is all accumulations of past thoughts, of thoughts you had in the past, intentions you've set before now, right? So from that place, going forward, knowing that this right now moment is actively aligning you to what you're going to experience going forward, that's why it's so important to be intentional in your focus and be mindful of what you're observing. Okay, reconnect to your own magic. Reconnect to allowing yourself to observe more of what you want to see versus what you don't prefer. Okay, because that's what's going to align you to more of that. Let's see. Anything else, Spirit, for the collective as it pertains to this spread? More details for how the collective has disconnected. What have they disconnected from? So I'm hearing that we covered it all. And that also explains why there's no cards coming out. So we're going to go into, how can the collective reconnect? What can the collective do? What can the collective focus on at this time to support them in reconnecting further than what we've already discussed? Clear, accurate messages for the collective, please. For their highest and greatest good only, nothing less. What is the action they can take or something they can do or focus on, okay, that can support them in reconnecting? Ooh, the moon, okay. So this has to do with your subconscious mind, okay. Some of you might really benefit by going deep into your emotions, okay. This is Cancer energy. Some of you would really benefit by maybe getting near the water, okay, or working with the element of water to release. Water is a beautiful way to release things. Some of you might also benefit in taking a spiritual bath. Some of you haven't done that either ever or in a while. That's also important as well as even taking a cup, right? And speaking into it, all the things you want to get rid of, all the things you're letting go, all the things you're releasing, and then allowing yourself to take it outside to the base of a tree and dump it and thank it. Give it gratitude. Thank you for taking this away from me. Thank you for absorbing this out of my experience and transmuting it into love. Okay, that's an easy, quick little ritual of releasing. Okay, you can even work with both, right? The elements of fire and water. Okay. So let's see, what else can the collective do or observe to reconnect spirit? So also what I was getting at was earlier with the moon is rewiring your subconscious. Okay, so you might really benefit in listening to some meditations. I personally have been enjoying more of NLP exercises. Okay, neuro linguistic, things like that. So we also have the Four of Cups. Okay, so for some of you, this is about releasing disappointments. Okay, things that have let you down, things that have, felt like it didn't go your way. You have to remember that everything is divinely orchestrated. If it was for you, it will be for you. As long as it's for you, it will be for you. Okay, you will have access to anything that is actually meant for you, right? But some of you are still carrying. That could be what it feels like. Some of you are still carrying is disappointments of the past, and we covered that earlier. Okay, and it's coming out here. Okay, times, and for others of you, this has to do with rejection. Okay, letting that the energy of rejection go. Okay, allowing yourself to reframe how you're viewing rejection. Some of you are taking it personal. You're making it personal when it's not. It's never personal. It's spiritual. Okay, so allowing yourself to see how rejection is only spiritual and divine protection and redirection. Okay, when you allow yourself to reframe it from that perspective, it no longer has power over you. And then when you allow yourself to reclaim your power from that particular situation or experience, it then puts you in the position to exude the energy of what you want to experience more of versus what you don't, and having that come back up again through another person. You see what I'm saying? So let's see. Anything else, Spirit? So we have two come out. The Two of Cups with the Five of Pentacles. Some of you, this is a connection that has been weighing on you that you're being asked to release. Some of you, yes, it may feel like a loss, but you have to realize that it's only helping you make room for what it is that you want, what it is that you deserve to experience. Okay, some of you are having a really hard time, maybe turning someone else down. It could be a Cancer. You might be a Cancer. That might be a sign of significance. Now, others of you, this could also still be, some of you are still holding on to the pain of a breakup. Okay, where it felt like someone put you in a space of lack, left you out in the cold in some type of way, kicked you out. There's an opportunity here to observe how that was really meant to benefit you, how that was actually divine orchestration. Some of you don't realize the karma that someone is coming up against, you were never meant to be a part of. Okay, that's why it feels like it's really important for you to allow yourself to shift the way you're observing the situation. Okay, some of you are just viewing it from a distorted lens of perspective. Maybe it's like, for example, you're trying to see something clearly through glasses that are cracked, but you have a fresh pair of glasses that you just need to decide to take these off and put on instead in its place, right? But some of you are too comfortable. I really like these glasses though. I really think these ones are cute. I've had them for so long. I've been carrying this for so long. It's hard for me to see what's on the other side of if I let it go, right? So allow yourself to observe the things that have happened, the things that have left your experience. It was never meant to hurt you. It was never meant to hurt you. It was only meant to show you that there's better on the other side of this, right? It's not, that the grass is greener. Grass is green where you water it, right? But some of you, it was only going to make your situation worse. Okay? So let's get a final word of advice for the collective in regards to this spread. That was a lot of messages to try to recap. Okay, so the advice is to allow things to improve. This is the Six of Swords. Okay, the Six of Lightning. So this is about improvement, things getting better, but it's also about moving on. Okay, it's about leaving the past where it's at. right? Leaving, you know, people that are manipulative, people that just want to fight with you, that just want to have conflicts, that just want a fucking problem, that just have drama. It's like leaving all that shit behind. Some of you have been carrying way too much. Some of you have been in your head because you know that you're carrying stuff. This is spirit saying it's time to let go of that. It's time to move on from that. Okay. And it's interesting too, because this card in other decks, like traditional tarot decks, is depicted of a girl that's in, or a person that's in a boat, that is only has like a bag with her or something. Like it's very light, right? She's by herself, right? But it's like moving from choppy waters into calmer shores. This is again about improvements, things improving. So it's like allow yourself to see how when you let these things go, when you allow yourself to one by one let this shit go, you can also observe how your life starts improving. And the different ways, observe how one by one these things that I'm allowing myself to release and let go of, set the intention that I'm ready to let it go. I'm willing to let this go. Please show me anything that I need to do or say to let this actually be released. Those simple requests, you can allow yourself to then observe how it's actually helping you, how things are actually starting to get better from that place. Okay. Anything else for the Six of Swords, Spirit, for the collective? The Empress. So this is about knowing your worth, knowing what you deserve. Okay. Some of you, this really has to do with a fated connection that was meant to teach you your worth. Some of you be like, why do I keep attracting narcissists and people like that? I've done that too, but guess what it taught me? I like prevent those. I don't have those type of connections come to me anymore because I've learned what they were teaching me. I allowed myself to see where I was lacking boundaries, right? Where I was overgiving, overdoing, where I saw that they weren't capable or willing to meet me halfway. They weren't willing to see my worth, right? And therefore they didn't need to be in my experience. And that was simply because I hadn't yet seen it. I hadn't yet acknowledged my worth. I hadn't not yet acknowledged that I deserve better than this and remove myself from the situation, right? So some of you, this is teaching you how to do that. That when you remove yourself from a situation, see how this is coming back around? You remove yourself from a situation that shows spirit, I know my worth. From that place, that's when you align with your abundance. That's when you align with everything that has been waiting to grow and come to fruition for you. Okay. So, anything else? Right, we have the world at the bottom. Exactly. This is about closing cycles, successfully closing a cycle. Okay, traveling, moving. Some of you, maybe want to take a trip and you've been putting it off because everything you've been carrying. Some of you are avoiding a trip because like, well, I can't take everything I want, so I don't want to go. That's where you need to shift your perspective, okay? And allow yourself to leave all that shit behind and watch how better you feel by allowing yourself to take the trip, by allowing yourself to make the move or close this cycle, whatever that is for you, okay? It could be all of that. That's how vast this universe is. It could be all of that at one time, okay? So now we're going to get with the Empress at the bottom again. Okay, with the Empress at the bottom again, just saying, what is on the other side for the collective? If the collective allows themselves to release the weight they've been carrying in whatever way they've been carrying it and reconnect to their worth and what they know they deserve, what is on the other side for the collective, Spirit? Make it plain. Show us what we need to see. Clear, accurate messages only, please, and nothing less. King of Swords. So that has to do with truth, clarity, okay? Getting clear about what you want, cutting out what doesn't belong, the world, again, okay? Success, travel. Anything else? The Knight of Swords. The Knight of Swords, the Ten of Cups, and the Six of Pentacles. So this is, happiness, wish fulfillment, things coming in. This could definitely, like I said, be a move for some of you, okay? Relocating. This is the Four of Wands. But this is also about being supported, okay? Knowing that you're supported. Having support come to you in a multitude of different ways, okay? It's like being in your truth, speaking your truth, getting clear about what it is that you want, where you want to go. By allowing yourself to get clear about these things is what positions you to actually be confident in what you're being guided to do, being confident in the action you're being guided to take because you're clear about it. When we have clarity, we're not fearful anymore because we get it, we understand it, right? And so like I said, some of this could be some of this for some of you this could be a move, like travel, like long distance travel in some type of way, okay? And finally having the idea, the clarity. It's like not realize, some of you don't realize that the weight you're carrying, you're not understanding how it's affecting other areas of your life, okay? How because I let this one person go, that now I'm clear about how I can make this move, right? And you're thinking like those two aren't even related. How the fuck? It doesn't matter. You just need to go with what you're guided to do, what you're being guided to, let go of, what you're guided to stop carrying that doesn't belong to you. When you do that, it's because you're clearing the energy, right? You're allowing yourself to be energetically lighter, which then allows the clarity to come in about what the next step is, what's going to take me to my happiness, and who is going to help me get there, what is going to help me get there, right? It's like you guys are more supported than you realize. You have more support in other places than you're aware of, but it's because you're just not there yet. You don't see it, right? Some of you are like, well, who's going to help me? You're worrying about it you're worrying about the wrong thing at the wrong time. We covered that earlier, right? Some of you are worried about the wrong thing at the wrong time. It's not time for that to matter yet. That's why you don't see it, because it's like some of you are looking like at the very end of, like, let's say a course that you're taking and wonder like, well, how am I gonna da 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 da? And it's like, wait, we ain't even there yet. We ain't even close to being there yet. Like just focus here, be present. Let's be right here first, right? So just know that you're supported in whatever it is that you want to do. The universe wants to see you happy. The universe wants to see you win. You are supported. Some of you, this is happening the way it is to bring in someone, like especially if this is about a connection, to bring in someone that is reciprocal, that can reciprocate the love and the energy that you give, that you know you deserve to receive. Okay? Someone that you can actually have a family with and actually be happy the way you know you deserve to be. Some of you just haven't gave yourself the chance to do that because you're still carrying a relationship or obligations, projections, whatever, that don't belong to you. So please take it as it applies. You'll know what the messages are that are for you, okay? But it doesn't have to be as hard as some of us are making it, all right? It doesn't have to be nearly as complex, but be willing to release as much of the things that you know are weighing on you as you can, okay? Because when you do that, that's when you allow yourself to see how much lighter and better things can be. Better things are trying to get for you, how abundant life can get for you, right? How supported you really are because you allowed yourself to be like, you know what? I deserve more. I'm worthy and deserving of more than carrying a bunch of pain and projections and trauma and shit that never belonged to me. That was never meant for me to hold. Or even if it was for me to experience, I don't need to continue holding it, right? And allow yourself to clear your shoulders. Stop carrying it. So those of you, if you have back pain or shoulder pain or really tense muscles up here, that is a clear indication that you're carrying weight that does not belong to you. You're carrying the burdens of other people, the responsibilities of other people, maybe trying so hard to help other people and they ain't even trying to help themselves. See what I'm saying? How that plays out, how that translates into more. Okay? So before this gets any longer, I love y'all so much. I trust that those who needed the message received the message. Okay, this is about really reconnecting to your worth, to your value, what you know you deserve. Allowing yourself to be honest with yourself and cut out what needs to be cut out. Close out the cycles that you know need to be closed. Let the people go that you know you need to let go of. Okay, clear the weight, the energetic weight that you know you've been carrying. Forgive yourself for your role in a situation and allow yourself to say, I forgive others as well. They didn't know any fucking better because I didn't know any better at the time, right? When we know better, we do better. And forgiveness does not mean you have to let them back in, does not mean you have to give them another chance. It just simply means that that situation no longer has power over you. It no longer dictates your vibration and how you move going forward. That is what forgiveness does. So I love y'all so much. Please like, subscribe, comment on the video if you resonated. And until next time, howdy.